Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Lisa Sylvester. Well, joining me now with more on the Arpaio controversy is Congressman Trent Franks. Trent Franks represents Sheriff Arpaio's district. And Congressman, I got to say, first of all, good for you for standing up for somebody in your district in whom you have faith. There are other folks who have faith, but they don't have the guts to stand up. You probably know some of the people I'm referring to. But anyway, welcome.
Well, thank you, Lou. And you know, the bottom line here is that this sheriff is not being investigated because he is somehow breaking the law. He's being investigated because he is enforcing the law. And I'm just sort of astonished that we keep seeing this trend on the part of the Judiciary Committee, especially under the Democrat control here, where they are seemingly more committed to going after the good guys than they are the bad guys. That's been a trend even with the terrorist elements here. In the last 2 years, we've had a dozen hearings on legislation that would weaken our ability to defend ourselves against terrorists, and none that would strengthen our ability to do the same. You know,
you're sitting here with a community, Phoenix, which is at the heart of Maricopa County. Congressman, as you well know, you represent Phoenix as well as Maricopa County. It's in your district. It's become the kidnapping capital of the country. And the violence is accelerating. The issue of human smuggling, drug smuggling, Arizona, one of the principal corridors. This sheriff is the most prominent and the most effective local official in the battle against illegal drugs, illegal immigration, trying to bring order. And he's being attacked by 4 left-wing Congress people who have an obvious agenda here. And there's not a peep being made. I mean, this is, I swear to you, this feels like either Brave New World or Orwellian or, absolutely Joseph Stalin has secretly been resurrected.
Well, you see, I think one of the reasons that they're going after Sheriff Arpaio is because he is high profile, and they feel like that if they can take him out or do him damage or intimidate him, that they'll end up intimidating the whole specter of law enforcement that deals with illegal immigration. And I just, again, continue to be astonished that somehow we got these guys out there trying to enforce the law, trying to protect us from narco-terrorists, probably someday being able to protect us from maybe jihadist terrorists bringing some weapon of mass destruction over the border. Right. And here they're trying to fight the bad guys in front, and the Congress, their own government, is knifing them in the back from behind. And
well, let me ask you, here's what Sheriff Arpaio said. You've called this a witch hunt, and I think yes, that you're being kind in saying that. Here's what Sheriff Arpaio had to say, if we can put this full screen up. He asked about the hearings from Messrs. Conyers and Lofgren. I mean, I can't tell you how little regard I have for those 4 people. But after finding out that the Judiciary Committee is planning a congressional hearing, here's what he said. Why don't they wait for the federal investigation? Why do they want hearings now? Because it's a political situation. They want to keep putting the pressure on me, hoping that I go away. And that is not going to happen. You and I both know, Congressman, if Sheriff Arpaio was a man of less principle and less guts, I mean, most people, I won't say most people, but nearly every political figure I know would fold up like a wilted daisy if subjected to the pressure that this sheriff has been over the last several years.
Well, you know, I think that's what they hope the sheriff will do, but I think they picked on the wrong guy here. I don't think he's going to do that. And I think in the final analysis, when the smoke clears, you're going to find that Sheriff Arpaio, you may not like the fact that he's enforcing 287G. You may not like that he is doing it as he's doing, but there's certainly nothing illegal about it.
Are you confident that there's no racial profiling?
You know, I don't think there's any racial profiling at all, Lou. I think that the sheriff is trying to go after the criminal element, and we find that in Maricopa County about 53% of all violent crime in our county is perpetrated by illegal immigrants. And so when he goes after crime, he's naturally going to run into some illegal immigrants in the process.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there any way in which you can bring on investigations? First, I think there should be an investigation of all of these Congress people who call for this investigation. There should be an investigation of the relationship to the ethnocentric interest groups who were driving the petition, which only has 35,000 signatures. By the way, I believe that Sheriff Arpaio, if it's all about petitions, he could raise 350,000 signatures in short order just in Maricopa County. But is there any way in which you could carry out an investigation here? Is there any way that we could get an investigation for the American people as to why our government isn't securing our borders, isn't